my job history, I've worked as a dev, I've worked as a scrum master, then moving to a different country because I was initially in South Africa. Then I moved to the European area and I wanted to experience that, and that took me back into the tech side of things and in network engineering or systems engineering. I felt like 2 years is a good time, and I wanted to kind of return back to working kind of with devs a bit. In fact, towards the end of last year, I started to think, okay, do I want to stay in this role long term, or do I want to transition, going to see what's out there? And I made up my mind at that point that I wanted to go kind of back a bit into a product owner role where you still have a knowledge of how the tech side of things work, and you also have some business knowledge, some strategy, all that kind of meshed into one. So I started to do my investigation. That's also another thing. When you're investigating, speak to people that are doing the roles that you want to transition into. I talked to product owners. I reached out to maybe friends of friends, or even some friends that I worked with in previous companies that were doing the role, just to see, okay, what does the job entail? And if I'm to interview or start to interview, what should I expect? Or what do jobs look for, companies look for, certifications that I need to get or courses that I need to do. So at that time I knew, okay, I want something product manager, product owner. And so I was like, okay, things that I want to boost my knowledge in is the cloud side. So the first thing I did was look into the AWS certifications. So they have a practitioner, and then they have also the solutions architect. But I was like, no, I have some tech background. I did my CCNA, CCNP, DevNet, all the Cisco related courses, certifications, and I do have some technical background. So doing a practitioner, that's more of, if you don't have much tech background, that's where you go. So I was like, okay, let me go for kind of the big one. Okay, slightly big one. The solutions architect. That's not the solutions architect professional. That's the beginner one. Solutions architect associate, to be specific. But along the way, I also realized that I'm interested in data science, and I actually mentioned it in my to-do goals or to-do items for this year, just to really understand the basics of data science, in terms of also build my Python, because I have worked with C# mainly and on Java, Android related, but not really actively Python. So learn that, statistics, dive back into that a bit. Python for data science and machine learning. You dive deeper into GCP, that's Google Cloud, their Google Cloud platform, which is their competitor for AWS. So this was all in a way to attract the employer that I wanted, because I wanted to be in the product owner, product manager kind of thing. And I knew for that you have to be both strong in the business communication. Communication must be strong, but you also have to know what you're talking about on the technical standpoint, because sometimes you're interacting with the business in terms of middle management or higher management, and sometimes you're interacting with developers. You have to be able to speak each of the languages, the in-between. And then along that path, I realized that there's this other role called a program manager. So I was like, oh my goodness, this role is quite perfect and quite also suits me, because now companies are transitioning from project manager to a more program manager, where you're dealing with cross-functional teams. So you're not just focused on one project, as a project manager usually is. You're kind of orchestrating multiple teams and multiple projects, so you become a program manager. So I started to read into that, and I'm like, okay, this is what I really want. I finally found that, and that also took me time to actually get to this realization. I got to this realization probably about February of this year or March of this year, but good enough that I had done my readings into AWS, data science, so I kind of had more to work with, and I knew, okay, this is what those jobs are looking for. I went on LinkedIn for jobs, program manager jobs, try to identify, okay, this is what the requirements are. Can I check off all of this? And also check back on my CV. You have to also do check back on your CV in terms of editing your language that you use on your CV to kind of tie into what the jobs are looking for, and also your learnings as well. Keep your CV updated because you want to land as many interviews as possible, because it preps you, gets you ready for next interviews, and you get experience. Really is the best teacher. The more interviews you do, the better you get, that you can actually just roll out of bed. And because something that you also learn is a lot of companies ask quite the same questions. So if you have your template of kind of key questions or key projects that you'll talk about, it's so easy to kind of relate with.